Hello, my name is Nitin Pradhan and I'm coming to you from sunny Washington, D.C. And today we are going to talk about a very important and an interesting topic, how to find a motivated buyer. And this topic, how to find a motivated buyer, is very important. And we know that because our customers keep on telling us that. So let me give you a little bit of history. We run a digital business and career growth accelerator from Washington, D.C. And we have lots and lots of clients, not only in US, but globally. And one of the things each of the clients wants is to actually grow their business. And to grow their business, they need to find a buyer. And that's where all the trouble starts. And that's why they keep on asking us, how do I find a buyer? How do I grow? And that's why we are taking this topic up today. And so we are not going to just discuss how to find a buyer. We are going to discuss how to find a motivated buyer, because that is going to help you buy, stuff from you, whether it's products or services quickly, and you're going to grow faster. So let's get started. So the first question is, what is a motivated buyer? You just don't want to find a buyer, you want to find a motivated buyer. But there's confusion as to what a motivated buyer is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly go through what a motivated buyer is, because you need to find a buyer with this 5 characteristics. And these characteristics were, sort of first defined by a guy named Ziegler, who was really a sales guru a long time back. And I'm actually using these 5 points from what he has said. So the 5 points to actually find a motivated buyer is, first, the buyer needs to have the need to buy your product or service. Second, the buyer needs to have the money to buy your product or service. Third, the buyer needs to have the desire to buy your product or service. Fourth, the buyer needs to be in a hurry to buy your product or service. And finally, the buyer needs to trust you, the seller, so that they can buy from you. So these are the 5 things that you need to have. Obviously, they need to need your products. There's very little chance somebody buys if they don't need a product. If they don't have the money, there's no use. You might spend a lot of time with them, but they just don't have the money. If they don't have the desire, that doesn't work too, because they might have the need, but the money, but they don't have just a desire to buy what you're selling. That doesn't work. They also need to be in a hurry to buy. This is very important, folks, because you might find a buyer and who may have the money and the need and the desire, but if they're not in a hurry, you are going to waste your time, effort, and money just trying to pursue that buyer. And ultimately, you're going to get frustrated and it's not going to work out for you. And then finally, they actually have to trust you, because no buyer buys from a seller whom they don't trust. So make sure that you understand that these are the 5 characteristics a buyer needs to have. And as soon as you find a particular buyer, you should go out and check out whether they have these characteristics. Now, the question still remains, how do you find a motivated buyer? And this is important, because if you don't find a motivated buyer, you will probably start selling to a loser who may never buy from you. And this happens all the time. I know case after case where businesses and individual consultants and contractors go out and try to sell. They don't know how to sell properly. They keep on trying to sell to losers, and losers don't have money. And if the losers don't have money, you're not going to make any money out of it. So the first principle you need to know is, if you're going to sell to someone, that person better have the money and those 5 characteristics. And if they don't have it, you are selling to a loser and it's not going to work out for you. So now that we have actually established that you need to find a motivated buyer, I am going to show you there is a motivated buyer for each and every one of you out there. And I'm going to show it to you by actually demonstrating that there's a particular need for your particular product by this buyer at this time. So let's go to that. So the buyer I'm talking about is the US federal government. Now, the US federal government is the largest buyer in the world. They buy over $1.4 trillion worth of stuff each year. That includes about $700 billion in grant and about $700 billion again in terms of contracts. They buy everything. They buy cars, they buy trucks, they buy planes, they buy tanks, they buy toilet paper, they buy, food articles, they buy everything under the sun. And the interesting part is the federal government, the US federal government buys all across the nation in US, but they also buy internationally. And so the good part is if you can figure out how to sell to the US federal government, you might be in luck because they are a very large buyer and they're buying across the nation in US, and they also buy some stuff outside US. So that's what you need to figure out. And that's what we are going to discuss today. So the question is going to be, how are you going to find out what the US federal government wants, and how are you going to sell to the US federal government? So first, I'm going to show you how you can find out what the US federal government is currently buying. That's one video. And then I'm going to show you how the hell can you sell to the US federal government. That's the next video. So keep on to this. This is a very important topic. This is what's going to help you grow, whether you're in any part of US and you're selling any part of product or service. The US government is probably going to buy it. So let's go to the two different videos. The first one, we're going to discuss what the federal government is buying, and I'm going to show you what they are buying, and I'm showing you how you can make that search, and then I'm going to tell you how the hell do you sell to the federal government, because it's a little bit complicated and you need to understand and practice and do stuff well. So I'm going to tell you that. That's what we are going to do. So let's get going. Okay, now we are going to go to the first part of the demonstration. As I mentioned, we're going to do two demonstrations today. The first one is to check whether the US federal government is buying the kind of stuff that you are trying to sell, whether it be product or service. So that's what we are going to do. And to check out that, you need to go to a site called sam.gov, sam.gov. And there's a beta site here, so you can see the SAM, the beta site.gov. I'm going to put the link of it below, so you can actually go out and check it out. This is an official US federal government website. It's 100% free to use. It's a great site to check out, if they're buying anything that you are selling. So let's figure out how to do this. So once you go to the sam.gov site, you are going to go to contract opportunities. Typically, as I mentioned earlier, the government is buying about $1.4 trillion worth of stuff by two ways: grants and contracts. We are not going to worry about grants. Grants are more where the federal government gives out money for public good. And so, you can search for those opportunities too. But I think contracts are more like orders. So we're going to look at it here. And so we're going to search whether there are contract opportunities in your area. And let's say you are looking at, a particular keyword or an area. And let's say you are a company which is in IT and you do cybersecurity. And let's say you are either a consultant, you're a contractor, or you have a product or services company in cybersecurity. And what you are trying to see is, are there any active opportunities in the area of cybersecurity that the federal government has opened now? Because remember, if there are opportunities open, obviously, they have the need, they obviously have the money, they have the desire, they have the interest. And all you really need to do is to generate trust in them for you and your product and service, and you might be in a good shape to actually sell to them. So let's check whether the federal government is buying anything in cybersecurity. Okay, so we put in cybersecurity, and as you can see here, there are almost 17,000 results, 17,000 results, and all of them are listed here. So you can just go out and start reading them. You can refine your search here. Again, there are lots and lots of stuff here. We won't get into this in much detail because we get into that in detail in the next demo. But here are all the opportunities that the federal government has. These are some past opportunities, when they were sort of got in. And obviously there are some newer opportunities. You can just click on this opportunity. It'll tell you it's active now. It'll tell you what the opportunity is. It'll give you all the links. It's also telling you whom to contact. So this is all very well done, right? So you can keep on going on and looking at all the opportunities that were there. And as I said, there is lots and lots of opportunity here that you can actually go out and look at. So there are many opportunities here. So here there is another one on cloud cyber information security services. Here's another one on cyber security training. Here's another one on cyber operations skills training. So there are lots and lots of opportunities. As you can see, it's just going on and on and on and on and on. So these are all opportunities in cybersecurity. Surely, if you're good, you should be able to get something out of this. And once you start learning how to sell to the federal government, the sky is the limit because they're the largest buyer in the world. So now you'll say, hey, you know what? I am not really in cybersecurity. Let's say I'm in trucking business. Let me see whether they're selling anything or they're buying anything in the area of trucking. So let's check that out. Okay, so now we have something in trucking. And so here are all these kind of opportunities. Here's a request for proposal for trucking services. Here's commercial trucking transportation service. Here's water trucking services. Here's question answers about water trucking services. Here's some other long haul trucking. So you have to go on and search what might be relevant. There are lesser opportunities here, but there are still 177 opportunities here. So as you can see, there are lots and lots of opportunities right here. Now, this is, again, the commercial trucking transportation service. It's active. It tells you where it is. It gives you the classification. It tells you this is a request for information. Again, how you actually work with the federal government is a altogether new ballgame. We're going to discuss that in the next video. But what I'm trying to tell you is that the federal government is buying lots and lots of stuff. So you might say, hey, you know what? I'm not really in cybersecurity, neither am I in trucking. Let's say you are in food services. Let's see what the federal government is buying in food services as of now. Again, in food services, there are 71,000 opportunities. There's everything from full food and mess attendant service to food services to dining facility services to cafeteria services. All these kind of opportunities exist. So as you can see, these are not 1, 2, 3, 4 opportunities. These are in tens of thousands of opportunities. And you can always figure out, what are the active opportunities, what particular area or which federal organization you want to work with, what are your NAIC codes. You can also figure out where the performance of work is where you want. So you can do all this kind of analysis and find the opportunity that you are interested in the area of where you reside, and you can start looking for opportunities and bid for them. So I think I've convinced you that the federal government is buying lots and lots of stuff. It's probably buying stuff right around you. And if you can figure out how to sell to them, you're going to be rich. And so now that I've convinced you on that, now what I need to do is to sort of talk about how the hell do you sell to the federal government, because that is a little complicated and you need some education and training. And that's what we are going to do in the next demo. So we are now on our second part of the demo. This is a very important demo, because what we did in this program was, first we talked about motivated buyer. Then we convinced you that the federal government, the US federal government, is a motivated buyer. And now we're going to show you how the hell do you sell to the federal government, because that is complicated. But here's the kicker, as I said earlier, if you figure it out, you're probably going to become rich. Not only rich, very rich. So it's worthwhile for you to spend some time, effort, and money trying to do this. And so we are trying to help you do that. So to do that, what I suggest you do is you go to our site, scaleupusa.xyz. Again, if you don't know what the URL is, it's scaleupusa.xyz. It's on the earlier presentations. You can go back and check it out. I'll also put it in the link below. And once you go to scaleupusa.xyz, you will see such a home page. All you need to do is to go to the Federal Accelerator link right on top. And once you go to the Federal Accelerator link right on top, you're going to come to this particular page. It's called the Federal Business Accelerator Bundle. And the reason we call it a bundle is because This Federal Accelerator program has lots of smaller programs in it. And once you join the Federal Business Accelerator program, you get access to all the bundle, the current ones and any future ones that keep on getting added up. So we keep on adding more stuff and you'll get access to it. Now, this program was specifically designed for contractors, consultants, entrepreneurs, startups, small and mid-sized businesses interested in growing in the $1 trillion US federal marketplace. And so we are discussing really both contracts and grants in this program. We believe this is the most exhaustive program that's available on the internet relating to the US federal government. Now remember, we are actually located in the Washington, D.C. metro region. So we have access to the federal government very easily. We understand what's happening here. We keep on getting new data, new information, new content, and we keep on adding that into this program. So it doesn't matter whether you're in Washington, D.C. or whether you're in Alaska or Hawaii or any other part of the world, you can access this information. You can learn how to grow business, and then you can actually decide to start working with the US federal government. That's what we are doing. Now again, this price that we have listed here is $599. This is a yearly subscription. This price may fluctuate a little bit here and there, but that's generally the price that we have. Now, of course, I'm not going to go through this, but these are all the programs that we have within the bundle. This is the base program that helps you understand how to work with the federal government. This program talks about how you sell to the federal government. This program talks about how you write winning proposals. There's some programs here on how do you do federal business development, and on and on and on. And now what I will tell you is that it's very easy to join this program. All you need to do is to actually click and enter your credit card number, and you'll get this information. And again, you can also go out and check out the individual programs. If you don't want the whole program, you can just want some individual program here, you can do that. You can also register individually to any of its component programs. And so that's what I would suggest, because working with the US federal government is not exactly easy. There are lots of complexities here. Nothing to be too afraid of, because there are lots and lots of companies which are currently doing business with the federal government. And one of the most important things that you need to understand about the US federal government is they always pay, and they always pay on time. And they have lots and lots of contracts. So you really want a client which is like this. And it's also very prestigious, because if you can get US federal government contracts, then you're probably going to get contract at state level, at your local county level, in your towns and cities. And you might also get, more contracts with companies. So it really can become a very important area here. Now, one question that we keep on getting asked very often is, we have a lot of international clients, and they ask us saying, hey, we are not based in US, we are not US citizens. Should we still actually go out and learn from this program? And my answer is yes, absolutely yes. And the reason is, because the US federal government is probably the most sophisticated procurement group buyer that exists in the world. And if you understand how to do business with the US federal government, you will probably be able to do work with any other government around the world, including the federal, state, or national government that might be there where you are located in your own country. And so if you learn the sophisticated ways how to deal with the US federal government, you're going to be prepared for actually working with your own national government or state government or local government, and you'll be that much more better. So you have an opportunity to actually learn from here and apply it in your own country. Plus, of course, if you're a ally of US government and the United States of America, then of course you might have an opportunity to actually set up shop right here in the US and actually work with the US federal government. There are some processes and procedures for international companies to do that, but lots and lots of international companies are doing that now. So that also is a possibility. So again, to summarize, we have discussed three things: how to find a motivated buyer. We have talked about a specific motivated buyer. We have told you how to search whether they are buying what you need. And if they are buying what you need, then you should go out and take this training and actually get prepared and start working with the US federal government. That's the strategy that we have for you here. And so if you like our program, do subscribe to it. We're going to have lots and lots of more information coming in here. Subscribe to it. If you have your products and services that you're planning to sell. We would love to hear in the comment section, what is it that you're trying to sell to the federal government? Yeah, one of the ways you might want to do is to partner between each other. And so you can actually comment in the comment section and talk about what you're trying to sell, what kind of partners you're looking. So other people can also comment and actually work with you. So let's try to create a robust group here to go out and do this. I will also tell you that we have a Federal Business Accelerator group on LinkedIn. If you like, you can actually join it and actually start discussing stuff here. We also have a group on Facebook, and I'm going to put all the links below in the description section here, so you can decide where you want to join and what you want to join. But all I wish you is the very best, and I want you to succeed in your business, especially by doing work with the US federal government. So thank you.